Okay, so yes, there was sound. I got nervous for a second. Okay, so this is the second part of the introductory video. We were talking about the group contract, and I think we actually wrapped that up. So, when you get together with your groups tomorrow, you're going to introduce yourself, and then you're going to share phone numbers and email addresses in Slack. Decide when you will meet. What are your strengths as a student? What are your weaknesses as a student? Okay, that's what you're going to do in person tomorrow. Okay, now we get into the logistics, and this stuff is very important that you pay close attention because these logistics are going to make the class easier to do. So the first thing is we're going to each indicate, you are each going to indicate what you would like to do for your presentation. So everybody will either do an individual student-led presentation or will participate in a team that is doing a Common Core debate. There is a link that was in that email. It is also, well, you're going to have to go back to the email, I think, because it's such a long link. You couldn't really type it in. But go back to the email, click on the right link, click on the link, and you're going to come to a page. It's a Google Doc that looks like this. What you're going to do is you're going to put your name in. God, it's so late now. I'm crazy. And then you're going to put little X's in the ones that you really want to do. And if you really, really want to do it, then you're going to put a little star, which is, it's like an asterisk thing. Now, if you choose the Common Core debate, which at least 4 of you must do, so please choose it if you can, you would put the little X, and then you would put either pro or you would type con, as in I am for the Common Core or I am against the Common Core. And that's what you're going to do, and everybody's going to do that tomorrow during class, and then I will put everybody into their presentations by the end of the day. So that is what you're going to do. Now let me tell you what those presentations look like so that you can decide what you would like to cover. Okay. Let's see what the presentations look like. Let me go back to the syllabus. Okay. Student presentations. So the student presentations are individually led. So each of you will do one, and it is a 30-minute discussion about a corner of the course content. Now, when I say a corner of the course content, I mean something that you've sort of sliced off of a larger chunk of content. So, for example, if you're doing the week about, Piaget, then you probably wouldn't do Piaget. You would do one, Piaget is a stage theorist. He has a 4-stage theory. You might pick one of those stages, or even one application of one of those stages. You might, for example, talk about the transition from concrete operations to formal operations, right? So it's like you read the chapter, as soon as possible, and you start thinking about what would be an interesting corner of that content. Then you look into it more deeply and you decide, what content you would want to cover, and then you have to design an activity for your classmates to do either individually or in small groups during our class. So you're going to think about what you need to cover in a lesson and think about what your activity will be, and then I want you to prepare a set of 5 to 7 questions with answers. And then once you have those 3 things, you're going to meet with me during my office hours, which are on Wednesdays from 10 to 1, which, by the way, are at the top of the syllabus right here. And if for some reason you have class during that time, certainly we can do it by appointment. You're going to meet with me and we're going to talk about it because I want to be sure that you're ready for the class. So you will have a half-an-hour conversation with me in the week prior to your discussion. That means, because your class is on Tuesday, that means you'll need to be ready a week in advance. So if we're meeting on Tuesday, you will have your office hours the Wednesday before. So, and there are no exceptions to that. This is an opportunity for us to work together and for you to get some individual attention. So I think it's really important. And you must do this within 30 minutes. We don't have time for you to go over, so make sure that you make the time to practice. So now that you know what the presentations are, let me quickly talk about the Common Core debate. So the student presentations, like I said, are these 30-minute individually led presentations. There aren't, but 4 of you will need to participate in a Common Core debate. So what that is instead of doing an individual presentation, you will work with a team, actually a pair. So 2 of you will choose or be assigned to in favor of Common Core, and 2 of you will be assigned to against Common Core. And what you will do is I will start you off with some resources, or give you some links and some videos and some stuff to get you started. And then you will prepare to participate in a traditional debate. So I'll help you get ready for that. I'll tell you what I mean by a traditional debate. Like, you will not be on your own. I will help you. I will structure it. You will handle the vast majority of that class period, but there will be 4 of you, so that will not be such a big deal. So it's a different kind of presentation, but it's equal in its intensity. So those are the student presentations. So you must, by the end of today, by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, the end of Tuesday, you need to go into that Google Doc and tell me what you want. Otherwise, I will assign you to the presentation. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation here. Okay, so that's student presentation. So you need to go into the Google Doc and tell me what you want to do. And by tomorrow, Wednesday, you will have your assignments. Next, we're going to talk about Slack. Now, Slack is a communication platform. We are not really going to be using Blackboard in this class because I've had a lot of trouble with it. It is not a very good tool. The only thing that we will use Blackboard for is to deploy your final exam, which we'll talk about at length. Well, not really at length, but we'll talk about it a little bit in a few minutes. So we'll be using Slack instead. Now, in order to sign up for Slack, you must go into a web browser and type this in. So let me do it so you can see what it looks like. Now you can, if you have your phone, you're going to need to get the Slack app on your phone. You can go to the App Store and download the Slack app, and you should do that. But first, you need to go into a browser, which you can use your phone browser, or you can use a computer browser, and you need to go into because I'm signed in, it doesn't look right. Well, anyways, it asks you to put in an email address. You'll be automatically approved with a Hunter email address, and then of course you can go in later and change it to a Gmail address if you prefer. And so you'll be approved if you have a Hunter email address. So you go in there, you sign up for it, and then you go into Slack. So you'll have to get the app, go into Slack. When you go into Slack, make sure you're signing into your team, not creating a team. Signing into the Hunter-Kroll team. And so you just type that into the Slack app, hunter-kroll.slack.com. And then you'll be brought into the Slack team. So here is the Slack team. This is what it looks like. These are all people in the Friday class. You will begin to populate down here in direct messages as well. And what I want you to do, just to show me that you signed up for Slack, I want you to go into class files, because that's the open channel. I'll have to add you to the other channels that you need. And I want you to come in here and I want you to type hello. So obviously that's you, just type hello. And then I want you to show me that you know how to add a reaction, which is pretty straightforward. You click here. It says add a reaction. And then it's just an emoji. right? So that's what I want you to do, to show me that you are effectively in Slack and can interact in there. So let me just delete this. You'll also find in there the presentation from today, as well as your syllabus. You are the Tuesday class. Okay, so once you get into Slack, I want you to create your study team channel. Now, how to do that? So to create a channel, you come in here and there's a plus button next to channel, and I want you to click that, and then I want you to call it something like Tuesday 9 a.m. group 3, or call yourself something like the Blue Cheetahs. Ta-da. Bing, that's a blurg. That's a bit too long. Channel names must be fewer than 22 characters. Okay, so you figure out what you want to call it. And then you send invites. So only one of you has to do this. And it should pop up who you can invite. So invite the other 3 people on your team, and me. Make sure you invite me. I am AJ Kroll. But I can't invite myself. There I am, AJ_Kroll. So make sure you invite me. And I will remind you to do that. You can do that while you're sitting having your study team meeting tomorrow. So that's what I want you to do. Yeah, that's what I want you to do. This piece we'll just do in class next week, but the rest of it I want you to do in class tomorrow. All right. Now, exit tickets. So in here, you'll see exit tickets is a channel. I have to add people to this channel because it's private for reasons I don't understand. Because it's locked somehow. Anyways, I have to figure out how to unlock it so that everybody's in it, because it looks like... Anyways, okay. So the exit tickets. Back here in the syllabus, you'll see exit tickets are worth, they're essentially your participation points, and they're worth 10 points of your grade. So 10% of your grade. And what you do for the exit tickets, at the end of each class period, we're going to take 10 minutes to share and discuss an interesting education article that you find. These need to be submitted via Slack in advance of class. So now where you're going to do that is in here, right? You're going to go into this exit tickets thing here, and you'll see this is somebody from the Tuesday class. And you will have, I'm going to change this one to exit tickets for the Friday class, and you'll have an exit tickets for Tuesday at 9 a.m. that you will post your articles in. And what you do is you drop the link in, and it makes a little mobile thing, and you'll see she wrote like a little thing here. I found this article to be interesting because. So that's all I'm asking you to do. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 3 ways. There are 3 places that I want you to get articles. I want you to sign up for these 3 things. 1, if you are a member, Facebook, go to facebook.com/ChangeMakersUnite. That is me right there. If you like this page, then you will start to see articles pop up in your feed that I've chosen because I believe they're interesting and important for education. So you'll see I post 3 articles a day. So here's one. That's one of them that I wrote. Here's one, and then there's one that I wrote. So you'll see it's like 3 regular articles and then one that looks like that because I wrote it. So like my Facebook page, that's one way to get sort of cognitive like articles about cognitive psychology and education. And then I want you to go to chalkbeat.com, actually might be .org/NY. This is where you can get information about education in New York City. So I want you to join their Rise and Shine email. So you would just put in your information and you would click sign up. that one I really think you should do right now. My Facebook one, I think the articles are interesting. Certainly worth your time. This one I feel like in order to really be a contributor to education in the city, you really need to follow Chalkbeat. And then if you're interested in federal education policy, you go to edweek.org. And this will help you keep up with what's happening on the national stage. And then you go here to subscribe. And that should get you a daily newsletter as well. No, you should not have to pay for it. So there is a daily, here it is. Oh, I have an account, so maybe that's why it's being weird. Let's see. Where do you sign up for the newsletter? Here they are. Okay. Here they are. So you, EdWeek Now is the daily, actually that's real time, EdWeek update, teacher update, that's probably a good one for you. Pick one of these that you like and it will help you stay on top of federal policy. Okay, sorry, that took longer than I thought it would. So I want you to sign up for Chalkbeat. If you're interested in federal policy, just sign up for EdWeek and like this page, Changemakers Unite. All these links are in your email. To get cognitive psychology related articles. So once you start finding those articles, then before class, you will go in and link to these. And if you really, really want to share it, then you add a reaction and you put a little heart. Because not everybody's going to get to share everything they do or everything they shared during every class period. That would be too much. So if you put a little heart next to your article, then I'll know that you're really interested in sharing it. Okay, so here are the links, and here is the assignment. So that's everything you should need. Now, observations. There are two observations for this class. There's a formal observation and an informal observation. Your formal observation is done via video. So that is a little bit of a task to get set up. So on your very first day of fieldwork, you need to mention the video requirement to your cooperating teacher and make sure that all necessary steps take place for it to get approved. Now, for some of you, there will be no approval process. We actually have a relationship with these schools that allows us to do videotaping for pedagogical purposes. You need to do it for EdTPA. It shouldn't be a surprise, but it might be a surprise. And if a teacher is uncomfortable, then we do have a release form that they can use that outlines this is in no way used for research. It's not used for promotion. It's just used for learning. So we have that in place. If you need it, just ask me for it. Now that is due November. I don't think November 10th is the right day for you. Interesting. This doesn't have the updates from the other computer, but the one you have will. I think it's the 14th actually, but look at the syllabus that you have. Anyways, the point is it's very, very early, so make sure that the minute you get in there and meet with your cooperating teacher, you talk to them about this video requirement. So you must video yourself for fewer than 10 minutes, fewer than 10 minutes, and show yourself working with a small group or leading the class. It can't be the same lesson that you share for your developmental reading class. And then what you will do is post the video to Google Drive, which is FERPA compliant, and the reflection paper to Google Drive. Actually, I don't know why it says Dropbox. And link to it in Slack by November 10th. So we'll talk at length, as the semester proceeds, about exactly what that needs to look like. It's also outlined in some depth on your syllabus, which is, it's down here. The observation structured reflection. So the observation structured reflection, like I said, it should be fewer than 10 minutes long. That's the video, and then what you need to do is reflect on that video in this way. Tell me the context, tell me when you felt you were most effective, when you were least effective, and then reflect on your experience as an educator in the classroom so far. That right there is a significant number of points for this class. I think it's 30 points. Yeah, 30 points for the observation reflection. It also counts as your formal observation for the fieldwork portion of this class. So that's an important thing to get right. Now there's also an informal observation. They will be scheduled starting in the second week of fieldwork, and they will be done in person. So I'll be coming around to your school site and observing you in a way that is not in any way frightening. I'm just there to make sure that everything's good, that your cooperating teacher knows that I'm around in case they have questions, and to make sure that everything's going okay on your field site. So I try to do those earlier in the semester if possible, just so I can, nip anything in the bud that might be going a little sideways for you. So informal observations will be scheduled. They're in person. Informal observations, much bigger deal. They need to be videoed, and you need to get on that right away so that there's no drama with your cooperating teacher. Okay, now finally there is one single exam. It's at the end of the semester. It is a take-home exam. It'll be 5 to 7 pages in length. You will have 1 day to complete it because it will be released on Blackboard, and then it is due 1 day later. It's due on December 14th. It will be released on December 13th. 1 day to do it. So you have to be sure that you're extra prepared for that exam, and we will do a lot of work on that when we meet in the very last class session. So, yes, the research requirement. There is a requirement that you participate in research assignments. So you should have received an email from the department. If you haven't, let me know and I will tell them, or I'll give you their email address and you can tell them. This doesn't have any points, but it is required. So you don't get any points for the class, but you can't get a grade if you don't do it. So make sure you stay on top of this. You have until the end of the semester to get those done. And it's two hours of research participation. Okay. So now I'm just going to go over here to the syllabus and make sure we covered everything in here. So let's just walk through this. Again, this is set up as the Friday class, but the one you have in your email is the Tuesday class. Here's all the stuff about the philosophy, and then here are the due dates and the number of points required for each thing, summaries of each assignment, so make sure you read these carefully so you're sure you understand what's required for the course. Here's the schedule, there's the date, the topic, and the reading requirements, and very soon it will have your names in here instead of Tuesday's class names. Common Core debate, a copy of the contract that you signed, or actually will sign, study group protocol, which is to help you remember what you're supposed to be doing, info about the student presentations, the Common Core debate, observations, structured reflection, including the paper, and then the Door College conceptual framework, which you're welcome to look to at your leisure. Okay, so that's that's what I wanted to cover. So when you guys meet in class tomorrow, what I want you to do is to meet in your study groups, introduce each other, talk through your stuff, choose your topics. So I can put everybody in a topic. If you don't choose one tomorrow, you will be assigned randomly to a topic. And I want you to sign up for Slack and sign up for those email newsletters. And all of that will be in the email that I send to you when I tell you that class has been altered for tomorrow. If you have any questions, I want you to email me right away so that we can get anything cleared up. And I want you specifically to email me at this email address right here, akroll16@huntersoe.org, because my other Hunter email address is very erratic and not entirely reliable, but this one is. So make sure if you need anything, you just reach out, and we will meet each other in person a week from tomorrow. And my apologies again for not being able to be there, and I will certainly see you all in a week. Thanks again for understanding, and I hope that you let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.